Hello, good morning. Good morning, Lee. Thank you very much for joining me and to everyone else that is on the live stream today. Right, so this is episode 12. Wow, this is crazy. Episode 12. So today I'll be also doing some reviews as we always do on Mondays and Saturdays. And just before I continue, I'm using a different mic today, so I hope it's sounding okay. So if there's anything I need to adjust, please do let me know in the comments box. I really appreciate that. Right, is the sound okay on the mic? Can you hear me loud and clear? Awesome. Sounds Lee says the sounds good to me. That's great. Wow, a lot of you are tuned in today. So we have Lee Pacman. In fact, Lee was the first to join the comments. We have Adam. We have Monique saying good morning. Good morning to you all. Decide hosting as well. We have Adam Agante from Berlin. Clint, awesome. We also have Anderson Lee. Anderson is asking why my camera angle is different. You know what? This is crazy. This morning, I thought everything was set. So I set my camera. So the camera I use is a DSLR camera. So for some reason, my software wasn't picking it up. So I had to use my my webcam. So this is why the camera angle is a bit different. So it's a bit weird. Sorry about that. I'll have to take a look and see what the problem is in regards to my camera that I normally use. In fact, let me show you quickly where it is. There we go. So see, that's the camera right there. Oh, it's not focused. Hope you can see it. Okay, so it's still the same room. Okay, right. Let's take a look here. We also have Clint and Patrice. Decide Hosting says that was a better angle and overall looks professional. Which angle? This angle or the other one from the DSLR camera? Which one is more professional? I'm not sure. Maybe we can have a poll here and see which one is better. We have Katalin from Hungary. Awesome. Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, so the earlier one. Okay, the other angle. Yeah, this one, I mean, to be honest, it's a webcam, but you know, hopefully it does the job. I'll be back to the other camera as soon as I work out what the problem is. So please just do bear with me. Okay, right. The websites I'm reviewing today were submitted by Miguel, Imran, Lysandra, Sean, Nepa, and Crystal. Right, okay, so let's get this show started. And by the way, if you want to submit your website for reviews, the link is in the description below, and also the links to the sites I'll be reviewing today are also in the description, so do check that out. Today's episode is made possible by DiviCake.com. Check out the huge selection of Divi themes, layouts, and plugins. The link to that is in the description below. All right, so let's see. Okay, so let's start with the first website here, and this website was submitted by Miguel. Right, so first of all, I like the fact that it has a lot of white space that makes it clean, and also the product that is being promoted there is a cleaning product, so it really works well. There isn't a lot of distracting things on the page. However, having said that, the image is blurred. Okay, that's not a good thing. These images that you need to add on your websites need to be nice, crisp, you know, very clear. So I would invest in a camera, take some pictures, or if you have a professional person that can take these pictures, let them take those pictures, because these impressions, the first impression when someone comes to your website is very, very important. So you want to make sure that whatever you're going to present to your potential buyers or your potential customers is perfect. I mean, think about your website as a shopping window. I mean, if your window is not tidy, it doesn't look that professional, do you think people would want to buy from that shop? Absolutely not. So this is how you need to take a look at your website. So the images that you use there, the message that you put, and how you design that page needs to be very, very professional and presentable. Now, I'm not saying this page is really too bad. I'm just saying I'm just adding this as something to bear in mind when you design your home pages. So here on this website, yes, this image could be better by having it high res. Now over here on the value proposition, make your life easier. Okay, enjoy peace of mind knowing your tasks are being done right. Okay, so here I know we have this image here, so I'm assuming that the tasks that are being talked about here are the tasks of cleaning. But you know what? Sometimes you need to make these things very, very clear, although the image is supporting it. So, and also make your life easier. How do I make my life easier? So these are the sort of things that you need to add in your value proposition, because your value proposition is very, very important. So make my life easier. How? So you could say make your life easier by blah, 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 blah. So that's what you need to explain a bit further. But other than that, I think this is a great design of the hero image. I think that is great. And the value proposition here could be perhaps expanded. And also the font that you've used here on the value proposition, I wouldn't use this because this can be a bit difficult to read. You want to make sure that your font that you use on the website is very easy to read. So I would not use this. I would just use the normal font. Okay, now moving on to the next section. Here the font that you're using is a bit too small. I would increase the size of that, and also maybe, yeah, in fact, that's all you need to do here. Increase the size. Now, this website here has could have the potential of having nice, bright, vibrant colors. So this is what I would do here, because this gray just makes things a bit dull. So I mean, it has its place. Don't get me wrong, gray has its place. But for this project, I think you could use like brighter colors just to spice up the website a little bit and make it more exciting. Okay, because your services are to do with cleaning, so you want to use like those bright colors. In fact, let me see if I can pull up a website here which is similar, which does cleaning products. Okay, let's go to nope, that's not the one. Right, I'm looking for right, let me search for it. Right, okay, I think I found it. Okay, so I'm on this website here called Tide, and we can see here that they're using this bright color here as their main thing, but this is not the example that I really wanted. Okay, let's try a different one. Prosil, I think. Right, I'm just trying to look for well, this is not a good example as well. But anyway, I was looking for something where, a website which has, like vibrant colors for their project, for their website, because here, by the use of that gray, it just dulls things down a little bit. I would say make it a bit more, exciting, add a bit more color to it. That will make it even better. Okay, so back over here, let's take a look. And so this is the area I was talking about here. Okay, so moving on here, I think here you've done a great job of keeping things nice and clean. However, these images here, they're nice, crisp. I really like them, and I also like this animation that you have. I think this is brilliant. Now, do you see the difference when you look at these images here? They look really, really nice, and it makes you want to click into it and make you want to find out more about it. So this is the power of using these images. See, that is nice and clean. Okay, so the one thing that I would also do here is to just make sure you use the same size images. Okay, use the same size images, because right now this has broken the pattern that we have here, because everything else is the same size, and then this one here had to spoil it, So I would use the same sizes here. Okay, other than that, I think this is a great use of images, and also that animation I think is really, really good. Okay, now over here to this section, I would separate this section by maybe adding a bit of color to it, because this white now, as you can see, has blended into this section here on the bottom. Okay, and also the other thing is the image here that you've chosen is good. However, the way you've tried to remove the background, I think you could have done a better job here, because we can still see the sides here, and the hair, you can see it's really choppy there on the sides and also on the face. Okay, so I would maybe go into Photoshop and really refine that edit, just to make sure that everything looks much cleaner in terms of these edges here. But other than that, I think the image that you've chosen here, could work, and maybe add a background to separate these two sections, because these look like the same sections. Again, here I think I spoke about the background. I would use a nice bright solid color there as part of your branding palette. Okay, so moving on here. The footer, I mean, I really like what you've done here with the footer. You have the logo. Maybe I may just reduce this logo size a little bit, but other than that, I think what you've done here on the footer is good. This is brilliant. Okay, so I don't think I mentioned this, but if you have any comments in regards to the websites that I'm reviewing, please do so by adding your comments in the description below. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a quick look and see if we have any questions so far. And let's take a look here. Oh, Karen's Cable, I think. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Oh, I didn't even realize that the spelling is wrong. Okay, let me take a quick look. Yes, well spotted there. Well spotted. Yes, the right there, you can see the spelling is wrong for easier. I didn't even realize that. Okay, so Miguel, that's something that you may want to go in and fix when you get a moment, please. Okay, right. Let's take a look at more comments here. Yes, Karen's Cable, I think. Karen's Cable, you also have a very good point here. And you say, I don't know whether it's something you consider, but visually impaired or registered blind people often pay for cleaning service, but the block cabs make it difficult for them to read. Now, that's a very good point. And I always mention this as well, and this is something that I forgot. But yes, please do not use caps in your descriptions, because it makes it very difficult to read. I mean, not just for the blind or visually impaired. It's just the way the letters are structured. It just makes it very, very difficult to read. It gives it makes you gives you like extra effort in trying to work out what that word means. So I would use it very, very minimal throughout the website. So that's one thing that we may want to take a look into there. Okay, right. So let's take a look here and see. Okay, so let's move on. Right, so we're going to switch on to the About page. Let's see how this page was constructed. Okay, so again here I would use more images because right now what has happened is this website looks way too clean here. I think it needs images to just balance, you know, the page a little bit. The way you're putting things together here, I think is good, but add more images to make this a bit more exciting, because this is a cleaning company, cleaning services. So you do want to show a bit more about it, you know, in your inside pages. Maybe perhaps use it in your page titles as well. That could work. And I know I've mentioned this before, but as you can see, your text here is a bit too small. Make that slightly bigger, and that would make it easier to read. Over here, I think this is fine, but I would reduce the text a little bit here. It's just a bit too much. Maybe add a background image as well, and make it really dark, you know, and maybe turn this into white or something, because it looks a bit too plain. Now over here on the team, these images here are great. I would reduce these a little bit because they're a bit too big. So I would reduce this a little bit, but other than that, I think this section is great. Also here on the bottom, maybe you may want to add a bit more padding. Right, so over here on the kind words from our customers, so these are the testimonials. Again, what I've noticed here is you're using a different font, or is that right? Yeah, it looks like a different font. So if you can, by all means, try and get images that go with these testimonials. That just makes them a bit more powerful and even more believable. Okay, it won't look like you just put some text together. So just try and get images to go with your testimonials. One technique I used before was if you're finding it difficult to for people to want to give you their image, what you could do is you could give them a discount on your service and just say, you know what, can I use your image, or can I have a testimonial with an image, and I'll give you maybe 5% discount, you know, towards the services or something. So get about 3 or 5 of these, and then, you know, that's your testimonials for your website done. So that's something that I would do to get these testimonials. So that's a quick tip for you. But yes, and also this section here, it's way too wide. So you need to reduce this a little bit, because as you can see, you know, the width of this is just way too much. So I would bring that in a bit, maybe starting from there. Or maybe even make it like 1080, you know, as the size, because right now that row is a bit too wide. Okay, I can see here the footer is spanning throughout your whole website. I think that is good. Right, so for the services, I'm just going to take a quick look here on a few before we move on to the next one. I think this is great. I can see the image here. That's brilliant. And then we've got more context here. Okay, so as you can see here, these icons, they could do with maybe an orange or a yellow, because I think that's a color that would really go well with your service. Okay, but other than that, I like the way you've done the icons. The only thing that I would do here, like I mentioned, is maybe just add a bit of color. And again, the fonts, they need to be slightly bigger, so to make it easier to read. Now over here on the tidy up zone, how tidy up zone works, because this is a different section, I would actually give this a different color background. Okay, just to show the distinction between these two, because over here, this is this information here is different as compared to what is here below. So I would separate these. Okay, so moving on. So what I would do here is maybe have 2 images next to each other, and then have the text over to the right, because the way you've laid it out here, it just doesn't look, I mean, the pattern is not really there. Maybe if we had a bit more text to the right here, that could, you know, form a pattern. But I would just add like items together by just adding this image over here to the left, and then having the text over here on the right. Okay, and again, this is a different section as compared to this. So again, I would separate that using a different color. Now over here, you can see, I think on the main page, I spoke about the images being different sizes. Do you see how beautiful this is now with with images that are the same size? I think this is really, really nice. So that's the beauty of using, images that are the same size here. So this looks really, really nice. I like that. The only thing I would do here is to maybe add a bit of padding to the bottom of this, just to give this section a bit more breathing space. Okay, so I guess, the other pages are following a same template, hopefully. Okay, so this is okay. Yep, you're following the same template, which I think is fantastic, because you don't want to have different pages all over the place. So at least, here for the services, you're using the same page template, and thumbs up for that. That's really good. Right, over here on the schedule, let's see how that page looks like. Okay, so that's great. I like the way you've done the map. It shows, like the locations there. And I think this is fine. And then there's also a booking. Now, when it comes to your booking here, I think what you could have done is to center this content here. And I assume this is a shortcode, which you may have taken from a booking plugin. So what you could do here is to perhaps maybe add three columns, and then add the shortcode in the middle one, so that this information here is bang on in the middle. Because right now it's aligned left, and then we've got nothing over here to the right. So it just looks like something is wrong on this page. Okay, so that's what I would do here for the reservation. And then finally, just take a look at the contact us page. And now you see the way you've added this onto the page, this has become now the focus of this actual page, which is not what we need really. So maybe I would add the form over here to the top, because this is the contact. Add the form and then add this information next to it. Okay, this tide of cleaning all time. I don't think this is bringing any value to the information that you need here on the contact page. Now here, the frequently asked questions, I think that's a great idea, because sometimes before the person actually wants to send you the question, they could read the frequently asked and they could be answered before they actually send the question. So this is a very, very good technique you've used here. Okay, so this form, as I mentioned, this needs to be above, and then, on the bottom here, the footer is perfect. So all in all, I think this website is a great website. The way you've approached it, I can see consistency in fonts. There may be a little tweaks here and there that you may want to do. Increase the font size, add a bit more color to your website, add more images, just to make it a bit more exciting. And also, if you can avoid using caps on your headings, I think that will be even better. Okay, so I think that's all I have for this website now. Before I move away and start talking about the next one, let me just take a look and see if let's see if there's any questions here. Yes, Adam has a very good point here. Adam says, should the map of where the company is located be on the contact page at the top? Yes, I think that's very, very important as well, because showing the location of where this company is on the map, I think that's great. So that could be information that could be added on the contact page. Maybe not really on the top, but on the bottom, because just after the frequently asked questions, or just above them. But the main thing that needs to be on the top of the contact page is the contact form, the address, and the phone details. If that's on the first section, that'll be great. And then below that, you maybe have the map, frequently asked questions, and so on. So that's a very good question there, Adam. And thank you for submitting your question. Right. Okay. So that was the first website. Let's take a look here at. Right, on the Divi University page, we also have Ricky, just joined. Thank you for joining. Awesome. We also have Justin Long. Justin has a very, very, very good suggestion here. Justin says they need to put their city or location on the homepage so that people can right away know if it's relevant to them. Very, very good point. Because sometimes when you go to, to these websites, especially if it's cleaning, you want to know if this company is in your area, so you can just contact them quickly. So that's a very, very good idea, because I'm just trying to think about it now. If I wanted someone like maybe a plumber, like in my local area, definitely in the websites that come up, I need to see, straight away if they cater to my area, which is Birmingham. So that's a very good point. Thank you for submitting that. All right, so let's move on to the next website, and this website was submitted by Imran. Right, so this is the website. Okay, so let's take a look here at the value proposition. Launch your e-commerce website today. Clue Commerce helps you start your e-commerce business with complete end-to-end e-commerce solution. We offer e-commerce platform, logistics, mobile app, blah, 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 blah. Fantastic. Straight to the point. I really like that value proposition. It's brilliant. Okay. It says exactly what it is. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is very good. Okay. Get started today. That's your call to action, and then contact. And also what you've done here with the image, I think that was really, really good because you've used this gradient to really make this text here easy to read. I think that's fantastic. Now, the only thing that I may say here is your image here, this color cast that you've added, I would keep it natural, to be honest, because that would make it look much better. Because right now, the lady looks like she's in a cold room. So, I would make it a bit more vibrant by just making that image even warmer. Okay, so that's what I would do there, definitely, because I don't know, it just feels a bit cold by the color temperature of the image. But other than that, I think this is good. I really like your top area here, even your logo. I think your logo is fine, and it's nice and clean. I think this is brilliant. Now, let's move on to the next section. Again, this is brilliant. I like the way you've used your icons here, and also you've used custom icons. These are not icons that come with Divi, so that's brilliant because it makes your website unique and it makes it different. Okay, so over here, I like also the width of your content area. It's very easy to read. Right now, I'm looking at this on a 27-inch monitor, and this is very, very easy to read. It's not stretched all the way to the edge, which I've noticed with some of the websites that I've reviewed. Now, the other thing that you may want to take note here is try and make these the same size, okay? Because you can see this one here is slightly bigger. So I know it's a minor thing, but you know me, I try and be precise with my reviews. So it's just something that's caught my eye. So if you can try and make this the same size, I think this would be even better. And also the use of this subtle color, I think this is working great. Now, moving on, I can see here that you have consistency here with your fonts, with your icons, which is great. And also here, you are separating your sections in a nice way. It's very easy to read, very easy on the eye. And then over here as well, I like the way you've done these icons. They're all the same size. That's brilliant, okay? And also the size is also good. Okay, so moving on. Now this one here, I think it works because the bigger one here in the middle is looks like the one that's highlighted. So I think this one works as well. And then moving down here, who's talking about us? Okay, I think that's good. So all in all, I would say this page is well put together. It's well designed. I like the use of the colors. They're very subtle, which makes it very classy. It makes it very professional. The use of colors. And the use of fonts, they're all consistent. The headings, they're all the same size. The body text is also the same size. And most importantly, the use of icons. I really like that. It makes your website really, really different. And I know it may seem like a small thing, but if I were to look at this website, there's no way I could tell, which page builder you were using to build this website. So that's a very good job. Okay, so over here, let's take a look at the platforms, e-commerce websites. Okay, great. I like the use of this top area here. It looks like you're building consistency throughout your website. I really like that. Yeah, so this is beautiful. And you've also switched things around here by using this as your background color here. I think that's also quite cool. Yep, I think this is really nice. And also your contact form is a bit different, which is also a positive thing. Okay, so let's take a look at some more pages, and hopefully these other pages are following the same sort of page template. Let's see. Right, e-commerce logistics, great. It's also following the same template. I really like that. And also what the image that we have here also has to do with logistics, so I really like that. Let's take a look here. Nice. Yep, I really like that. Okay, let's take a look at one more. Wow, that's really nice as well. Right, so it looks like everything is really following a page template, which is very, very good. That's well done right there. Okay, so coming over here to solutions, let's see, vendor, multi-vendor e-commerce. Nice. Now, these icons that you're using here, I think the size has been stretched a little bit. I would reduce the size of those icons. They're slightly too much now. They're slightly too big, so I would reduce that size a little bit. But other than that, okay, recent projects. I think this is really nice. Okay. Nice. Now for these recent projects, I would actually add them closer to the top or even have these on the main page, because this is a big selling point, having your recent project. So I would take this whole section and add it onto the home page, because I think that helps even, sell, your service. Okay, so moving on here, let's take a look here at the grocery e-commerce platform. Great. So I can see here that all these have a similar sort of like trend to them. So I think this is really, really good. Nice use of images as well. Great. I really like this. I think this is good. Now, let me take a look and see what everyone else thinks about this website, or if there's any comments. Oh, Carmen, thank you for joining us. Says good morning. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's take a look here. Okay, so no comments so far. Okay, so let's continue with. Right, so I'm going to take a look here. Let's take a look at the payment gateway page. Okay, I think this is really nice. The way the website is put together, I think this is great. Let's take a look here at maybe the Facebook store. Okay, so this is slightly different now. But now, having had a closer look at this, I think this will be even better if this was your section divider for your for these areas of your page. If you would maybe change it to this, I think this looks a bit more stylish. So I would use this instead of having just a straight line going across like what you have here on this page. So if you added that section divider, I think that would make this a bit more exciting. Okay, so let's go to services and add-ons. Okay, so what you've done, yeah, so this is what I mean. So I would go in and maybe, change that. Live demo. Nice. Okay, so that's only happening on the on the resources. So I would actually apply that, to the rest of the website. Now this get flat 10% off. I would add this on the top. I mean, right above the header area, because that's where people are most likely used to seeing it. So over here, I mean, it works. Don't get me wrong, but I think it would be better if it was up there right at the top. Okay. Right. Let's take a look at the blog page. Yes, the blog page is nice. I like that. Brilliant. But maybe what I may do here on this blog page is have 3 columns instead of 2. But pretty much that's about it. I mean, what you have right now works. And then for the contact page here, yeah, I think it's fine too. The contact page is okay. Yeah, so all in all, Imran, I would say this is a great design, good effort. I like the way you are consistent with your pages or your inside pages. The way the page templates. I think that is very, very good. The only thing, as I mentioned in the beginning, your images have this cool tone to them, or a cold tone to them. I would make them warmer. Even the fruits that you have, that you're showing on your eMarket example page, I would have all those fruits, all those pages, with a normal, or even make those images warmer, or just keep them normal, because what you've done here is you've made the website look very, very cold. So that's the one thing that I would change on your website. But other than that, I think you've done a great job putting this website together. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick look here and see if we have any questions or comments. Decide Hosting says, how can we add a countdown above the header? Now, for the countdown above the header, I use a plugin called Thrive Leads that allows to add that countdown above the header very, very easy. Okay, so that's, in fact, I will add a link to that in the description. I'm just making a note for myself here, so I remember. Yeah, so you don't need to mess around with any coding or trying to add some CSS and all of that stuff. So the Thrive Leads plugin allows you to add that countdown timer. You can remove it. You can style it. Again, it has a drag and drop interface, which is really, really good. So that's what I would use. Okay, let's see. Do we have any other questions here? Decide Hosting says, I think it's because the cold tone that's because the text will not be visible on mobile devices. There's a technique which was suggested by one of our viewers. I'm forgetting who it was, but for mobile devices, what you can actually do is you can divide a section that can only be seen on desktops, and then divide a different section that is only seen on mobile devices. So it can be achieved. That cold tone, I think. It's because we have that gradient, the tone can be taken away without changing how the text is viewed. It's because of the gradient that we have, and even if that text is not being easily visible, I would design a specific section that's only on that can only be seen on mobile devices. So that's what I would do there. Versus IT says, can you open the post? Okay, cool. Let me go back in and open the post. Nice. I can see this is really styled. I really like this post. This is brilliant. Nice, simple. I also like the fact that you have a call to action here to collect emails. Awesome. And then the comments there. So this is a custom page because normally it comes with a sidebar and the color is normally white. So I can see you've done a great job here, Imran, of adding a background color and stylizing this post as it is. I think this is really good. And also the way the image is the featured image here is on the top. You can share the post. I think this is fantastic. Okay, I think this is brilliant. You know what? I am curious here. Venus IT, is this your website? I can see you're eager, for me to see the post. No, I'm just kidding. Wim says, nice website, great design. I agree. Right, let's take a look here. Venus IT says, no, it's not. Okay, cool. Dimple says, what do you think about the social media icons on the left? Is that good practice? Okay, let me just take a quick look again. Yep. Now, my take on social media sharing icons is on my website, to be honest, I don't see a lot of sharing. So I'm 50-50 on that. And on DV University, I don't even have them at all. So I don't see, a lot of people don't really, share. But having said that, it's a good thing to have because it can add as a design element. And also if people do engage with your website that much, it makes it also easier for them to share. So I would say it's good practice to have it. But, it won't break anything if you don't have it. But I would say have it because it makes people easier to share your content if they need to, and also it can just fill up that page in terms of the design layout. So having those sharing icons on the left, I think that'll be a good thing. So I would say go ahead and use those. They don't take anything from your actual design. So that's what I would do. Okay, so let's take a look here. Right. Do we have any more questions? Okay, not yet. Right, let's move on to the next website. So the next website was submitted by Lysandra. So this is the website by Lysandra. Okay, so first of all, I think this is a good hero image. However, this, of course, I can't read this, but I think it's too much right there for the value proposition. I think it's too much text. I would simplify that value proposition. If I could read that, I would maybe even give some suggestions on how you can actually, name that or how you can reword it. But unfortunately, I can't read this language. I'm not even sure if it's Spanish or Portuguese. I'm not sure. Okay, so that's what I would do. Now, again here, I would also add a gradient and have this text in white because I can see here you've added a drop shadow on the text. I don't think that is necessary. In fact, it makes it even a bit more complicated, rather than simplifying what's on that section. And so I would add a gradient and get rid of this white white background. So just add a gradient there as we saw on the previous website, and and have the text in white. Now over here on the bottom, I really like the way you've separated this by adding your your icons there. But what I would do here is I would add a bit more padding onto this section. So here on the top, you can see here that the text is way too close to the top, and the amount of padding we have here is not the same as we have to the here on the bottom. So that's what I would do: add equal padding both the top and the bottom to give this a bit of breathing space. And also, these logos, although they look very nice, they're great, make them smaller. They're way too big. Okay, I would make these logos a bit smaller, and also have these in a within a content width, because your content width here is just way too much. It's just way too much. Things are way too close to the edges. So I would actually have a row which has a content width of maybe about 1200 pixels. Moving on here, I like the way the use of the parallax here. In fact, I haven't seen this for a while. People don't seem to use parallax on their websites. I think that would work great in certain situations. So the use of parallax here, I think, is great. Okay, so moving on. This text here, I think this could be bigger, just so that people can focus on. So that people can read it much easier. Now here you can be a bit more creative and also add this text aligned to the left, because here you can see we have this dark area here. This text would read very well in this dark area. Okay, so that's what I would do. Right, so moving on here, I like the way this is so nice and clean, and you have, now look at this, you have nice padding here on the top before you get to your title. So this is this is what you could have done here on the top, right there. Okay, and also the heading that you've used here, and the size of this text as compared to the text that we have here. In fact, it's a totally different font. So this now has added a disconnect when it comes to consistency on your website. So on the top there we have a different font, and then here we have a different one. In fact, to be honest, I like this one better. It's much easier to read. The line height is great. So this is what I would go with. So whatever font this one is, I can't name it off the top of my head. Have this font here, the one that I've highlighted, as your main font in terms of the size, the line height, and everything throughout the whole website. And this can be done by going into your Divi theme options and setting your global text settings. Okay, because this one right here on the top, I don't think that works at all. It's too small. And this one here definitely works much better. And again, you've changed it here. See, now it's gone to this thin font, whereas here it's nice, it's bold, easy to read, and now you've made it very small there. Okay, so that's what I would do. Now over here, I love this image. It's brilliant. It shows what's happening in the class or in the seminar. I don't even need to read much over here, to be honest, because this image here is telling the whole story. So I love that. And this is the power of using images that are high res, because they show a lot of information and it makes it look very professional. In fact, that's the sort of image that I would have over here on the top. Okay, just to give a bit of context to what you do here. So I would find an image that you may have taken in one of your seminars and use that as your image right there on the top, add a bit of gradient to it and add a description. Okay, so that's exactly what I would do, because this one right here, now that I've seen the image on the lower sections, I don't think this one works at all. I would change that. Okay, so really think about that. Add a bigger image here, which is similar to this one, and add a bit of gradient to it. Add a page title to it, and I think your value proposition, and I think that would work even better. Now, you're introducing different font types here. This one here is a different font. Again, that is not necessary. You know what? You've done a very good job here by choosing this font. Why not keep this font here as your font throughout the whole page? And these are your section titles. Why not have that as your section title here? Why change it to a different font type altogether? I don't think that was necessary. And again, here you've used a different size. I mean, your fonts now are really all over the place. Look, the size you have here and then the size you have here, totally different. Okay, so that's something that I would fix. And moving on, again, I've spoken about this already, and now you've introduced a different font color and also font size. When it comes to this video, I would add a image overlay. I think that's very important here. Add an image overlay. Again, your text here has gone too small. And I think this is the blog. Yeah, the blog is fine. And again, this section here could be made better. I like the fact that you have these images alongside with the testimonial. I think that's really good. But just try and have this in a row, which is about 1200 or maybe 70%, because right now the text is just way too much. The I has to go a long way to come back to the next sentence. So that's what I would do. I would make this slightly smaller. And yeah, the footer is fine, but in terms of the design, but the text again is way too small. Okay, so I know I touched a lot on this page. In fact, let's take a look here and see if anyone has comments about this. Okay, no comments so far. Okay. Right, so let's take a look at some inside pages here. What is happening? Right, the website is really slow. I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like the site is a bit too slow. Okay, the image here is it's fine. I like it. Now here there's a setting on your images where you can remove padding on image. That will solve this, because this looks like your body was just cut out there. So you can actually have this image right there on the edge of this row, of this section. So you can remove padding on images. That's the feature in the image module. So that's what I would do here. On the top here, we don't have enough padding, so I would add some padding here on the top. And the font here, again, this is a different color font. So the fonts are really, like all over the place, to be honest. That's something that I would fix as soon as I can. Now here, I'm seeing the same image that we have on the main page. Since you do these seminars, I'm assuming that this is you, or you're designing a website for a client. Have more of these images throughout your whole website. Don't reuse images over and over again, because it comes across as if you're running out of images. And again, you've done the same thing here. I would use different type images. Okay, and then over here you're introducing all these section dividers. I would stick to one type throughout the website, or maybe this curvy one here. Have this as your main section divider, because you've introduced 3 already. I saw another one on the main page, and now these 2. Oh, here's another one. Okay, so as you can see, you're introducing quite a lot of design elements onto your page, and it's making it look way too busy. Way too busy. And again, we have the image that you had there again on the top. Right, so this Puerto Rico blog awards, since this is quite important, I will have this again, on the main page, alongside your value proposition, because I think this is something that adds to your credibility. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick look here at a few more pages, but as you can see, I think the trend. You can see the trend again, the use of the same image here. Okay, so you can see here you have quite a few images that you could actually use. So I think you're missing a great opportunity there of using different type of images, throughout, your website. Okay, let's take a look here, 15 minutes. Okay, so I guess this is... Okay, so again on this page we have the same image. Okay, so I think overall what I can say here is the website itself can be made better by introducing a lot of images, especially like images that that are like within your field, your seminars. Just find a photographer or someone that can come along and take some pictures. And even because of the way you're doing your seminars, I would even add a video element to it. I think that would make it even more exciting. So I would add videos, maybe use videos as video backgrounds. That's also a design style that you can use. This could be maybe 7 to 10 seconds. Different video backgrounds that you can use on your pages. So that's something that you may want to think about. But as I was going through this, there's a few problems that you need to address. Your fonts, you just choose one font throughout your whole website. Same font size, line height, color, and everything. That needs to be consistent. Number 2, your section headings, they also need to be the same. Number 3, images on your main page, the main image of your hero image needs to be something that is in line with what your website does or what you do, and then followed with the value proposition. So that's what I would add there on the main page, and remove the main image that you have on a hero image at the moment. Okay, so pretty much that's all I have for you. So Lysandra, thank you very much for submitting your website, and I hope you can make those changes, and definitely if you do that, I think this will make your website even better. Okay, right, so I'm going to take a quick look here and see if we have any comments. And Adam also says lots of styles going on and very inconsistent. Yes, absolutely. And this is also what Adam has picked up. So yeah, adding all these different styles just makes it a lot more confusing, and it's just way too much. Okay, keep it simple, keep it nice and simple, and use one section divider style. You don't need to have 3, 4, 5 different styles. Keep it simple, and that will make it fantastic. We also have Douglas here saying hi, Mac, and all. Thank you very much, Douglas. Good to see you. Good to see you. We also have Renice Products from Texas. Wow, good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome to the show. Right. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, and the next website was submitted by Sean. Okay, so we've done this one here. Done this one, so this one must be Sean's website. Oh yeah, we've done this one as well. Okay, so this is the website that was submitted by Sean. So Sean, thank you very much again for submitting your website. The power of ideas. Does your business need a creative lift? Right. Now, Sean, your color here, I think it's a bit overpowering. I would simplify your color palette here, because you're using this orangey color a bit too much on this page. So what I would do is I would add an image here that goes along with your value proposition. In fact, I'll touch on the value proposition in a bit. So I would add an image here for your main section here. Maybe even add a different color here for the heading, for the header background, because it's a bit too much here, the use of color. Okay, so once you've changed this background here, maybe even make it black and reverse your logo, or even another different color. Okay, and then here I would add a nice big image, and then here on the value proposition I would simplify this because it's a bit too much to read. So I would simplify it a little bit, maybe have one paragraph with your title, because this one here brings curiosity, which is good, the power of your ideas, and then go on with your description here. Okay, the button here is fine. Now these, click here to view the work. So it's not clear here which work we are viewing. Is this the work that you've done for your clients? So I would add a bit more context to this. Okay, but other than that, I like the way you've done it. This is different, and the use of this slider here, I think this is very, very good. Okay, I like that. But the one thing that you may be losing out on is I only managed to pick up that this is a slider by putting my mouse over this image here, because I saw this arrow. So that's what made me see that this was a slider. Okay, but because you have all these other projects, I would actually not add this as a slider, but as a gallery. Add another row of these other ones that you have here on the next line. So having these two rows, I think that would make this really nice as well. Now over here, what I can do for you, this should be a different section with a different section color, because this is now talking about your services. Okay, so I would even center this as well. I would center it, add more padding on the top and the bottom, and maybe even give this an icon. And over here, some of our clients, I really like that. It has its own section, and your section also has a nice background, so it separates the content here. Now this here, some of my clients, I would have it centered as well, and maybe reduce the size of these icons a little bit. Okay, I mean, they're okay as they are. You've made them gray. I think that's a very good thing you've done. But I would just make them slightly smaller, and I think that would make it even better. On the testimonials, as I mentioned before, on a few other websites, I would add an image to go with this, because that makes it even more believable. Okay, and then on the bottom here, I think this is fine. Okay, so let's take a look here. Oh, so this is a single page which has anchors. Now the only thing with the anchors, what did I click here? Okay, the only thing with the anchors is sometimes, they have to be done precisely, because as you can see, if I click here, what I can do for you. Okay, this one here is fine, but now it's also showing some of my clients. Okay, so if I come over here to testimonials, again, you can see that it has the testimonials, but it also has, a bit here on the top. So you do need to just go back and make sure that your anchors are pointing to the right section. If not, try and increase the size of your sections by adding a bit more content in them, so that every time someone clicks on the actual anchor, it takes them to that particular part of the page. Okay, so over here, I'm going to take a quick look at the blog, and I think more could be done here on this blog page, on this blog archive page, to make it a bit more exciting. Maybe you might not need to have this color here in the background, because as I mentioned, it's a bit too much, the use of it's a bit too much. Okay. And again, you've got nothing here on the sidebar, and your image, I would reduce the size of this width so that my image, fits very well with this, because this white space here, I don't know, it's not working for me. I would actually maybe add an image which covers most of the area here, which is in line also with the text that you have here on the bottom. Okay, so pretty much that's all I have. I would revise the colors one more time and just not use that same color. It's way too overpowering. Just use some images as well to take away some of the parts that you've used that that color. And also for your main page, use an image that will go along with your value proposition, and also summarize your value proposition a bit more. And on the bottom there where you have your projects, I would add a second row so that you have more of your projects showing on that part. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick look here and see if we have any comments. Monique also says the text under the Power of Ideas should be a bit larger, hard to read. I agree. Yes, this could be a heavier font. Absolutely, that's a very good point, Monique, because the point of the value proposition is to make it very easy to read. So the font needs to be bolder. It needs to be slightly bigger, so it's easy on the eye. When you get to the page, you can just read what it is, quickly. Girish has just joined us here, saying hi, Mac. Thank you, Girish, for joining us. I hope I'm pronouncing your name well as well. Okay, great to see you. Right. The next website here was submitted by Nipa. Okay, so first of all, I like the way it's nice and simple. I think this is great. The only thing I would say here on the top is this image right here. You could have made it even more exciting, because this is transport systems. I would find an image which is even more exciting here, because this one here, I can see this is the steering wheel, but it's just way too zoomed in. I would zoom out and show a bit of these instruments and this dashboard. Okay, negative space. I like the use of negative space there. I think that is good, nice, clean, good white space. Very easy to follow, very easy to read. I think this is really nice. Over here you have a section which separates your content. I really like that. Your use of images here is nice. They're all nice and crisp. And then over here as well, I think this is great. The only thing is I would maybe have this as a parallax image so that we can see the rest of this truck. But other than that, I think this is good. So I think this page is well designed. Okay, the company page, I like that. You have a dark image there. You've made it a bit dark, and so that all your content that you're adding here is easier to read. I love that. This is fantastic. Great job. And over here, the negative space, I like that. Look at that. The image that you're using here, and this little style that you have on the image, where you have like a drop shadow, which is a light gray. It's a slight touch, but it's working, and that is great. You have consistency throughout your fonts. Your images are great. Now this image doesn't look real. I would change this image. It doesn't look real. It looks like this car was just added onto this page. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is not the shadow that you would get on a car on ice. This shadow here, this car was just added onto this. Definitely. I may be wrong, but that's what it looks like. So I would use a different image here. Definitely get rid of this one here. Something is just wrong with it. I don't know what it is. Even the tire here, something doesn't look right about this image. Okay, other than that, I like the animation going on here on the bottom. I think this is great. Okay, let's go to the About page. Nice images. I love this. I think this is brilliant. Right, I think the way you've designed this page is very consistent. Your images are nice. I like that. Yeah, so, okay, let's go to the gallery. Now your images are stretched. I mean, I think on this gallery, you could have made this gallery much better. The design of this gallery doesn't look... Okay, this one is fine. Okay, this gallery is fine, but if I go to the previous page, before I clicked away from it, the use of these colors that you've introduced as the gradient here. I know you're trying to make it easy, to make it easier for this text to be read, but I would just add a background to that particular text, to be honest, and not have these gradients, because now you've introduced all these colors to these gradients, and I don't know, it just takes away that design that you had, which was nice, clean. So I would definitely redesign this page here. Okay, I like the contact page. It's nice, it's simple. I love the map, the way it's, it's in black and white there. I think that's great. Okay, so all in all, I would say Nipa. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Maybe it's Nepa. I would say the way you designed your website is great. It's nice, it's simple, it's clean, and you've used your fonts consistently throughout. The only thing that I would revise there is that image, which I say doesn't look, something doesn't look right about it. And also, I would also fix the gallery page and just make it, much better. Okay, right, so let's move on to the final website, and the final website was submitted by Crystal. Now, before I do that, I'm just going to take a quick look here and right, Dimple says, I am my own real estate website. My biggest dilemma is planning the information flow. So is there a set formula when planning your website? Right. That is a very, very good question. I know we touched a bit in the last. We touched a bit about this on the last show. Now, when you design your website, you do need to have some sort of a sitemap. Okay. Now, what the sitemap is just where you write like your main pages, like your home, about us, services, and so on, and then link the pages that click away from those home pages. But this can be done basically on a white piece of paper where you can actually visually see where your pages are linking to. So this is the thing this is the first thing that you need to do before you actually start designing your website. So you can have an idea of what page is linking to where and where that page is being connected to. Okay, because as your website is getting bigger, it can get a bit complicated because there's no way of actually seeing how your sitemap looks like. So creating this beforehand and adding to it as you're building your website is a very, very good idea. So that's what I would do before you start designing your website. But the answer to your question, is there a set formula? No, it's just a design process. So that's what I would do first. Sketch out your sitemap on a piece of paper or on several pieces of paper so that you can have an idea of what page is linking where. That definitely helps, and it has also helped me in my designs. Okay, now it's time to review the last website, and this website was submitted by Crystal. Okay, so the first thing here that caught my eye is the images. The images are not high-res images. I would find high-res images. There's quite a few places that you can go to. There's Unsplash, there's Pexels, there's Pixabay. You can find these royalty-free images which you can use on your website or your website project. Now, taking a look here at this website, Crystal, Um, I think the font you're using here, you can use it on maybe headings, but not throughout your whole website and throughout all your titles and so on, because this font is not easy, to read. It's not easy to read at all. And this value proposition here, I think that needs to be down here on this main image and get rid of this section that you have here on the top. That will just simplify the page. And then over here on the top, I would just use normal fonts. And then if this is your logo, I'll have your logo over here to the left, just to clear up some space and make things, much easier on your website. Okay, now over here, I can see now you're using normal font, which is great. I would use some of that I would use that font in the value proposition here. Okay, and even having your slider, maybe I would have a single image with your clear value proposition, just to keep things simple. Okay, so again here, instead of having a thick line going across, maybe have a different section here with a as a color, and then swap around the colors here so you can make it easier to read on that background. Okay. Now this content here, I would actually maybe separate it by, in fact, these are your sessions. There's some modules that you can use, like the pricing modules, because what you've done here is, there's no, it's quite easy, it's quite difficult to see this information here, especially, with the fonts that you're using, and the fact that it's just too much text. So I would actually have this maybe in 3 different rectangles, so you can separate this and see exactly what it is in its own section. That could help on this page as well. And it looks like you have everything all like centered. I would add a bit more images here and maybe have some of this text here, on the left side by having 2 columns. Yeah, because everything looks like it's just a bit too much text here, to be honest. Okay, so I'll be a bit more creative and try and design, columns, sections, just to make this page a bit more exciting. Okay, testimonials. Again, I mentioned this before. On the testimonials, I would maybe try and have some images to go with the testimonials. That makes them a bit more believable. So try and contact these people that have submitted their testimonials and see if they can give you some testimonials. Or on your future ones, give them a discount and ask for their image to add onto your testimonial page. Okay, let's take a look here at the resources. Okay, I think this is okay, but again, this text here, as I mentioned, I would use normal text there and maybe just leave this for the headings only. Right, so let's go to the contact. Again, I would use normal text there and maybe have 2 columns, this contact form on the left and then this information here on the right, but in normal font. Okay, so this is a straightforward website, but by doing those changes, I think this will transform your website and make it much better. Okay, so that's all our websites. In fact, let me take a look here and see if we have any comments. Okay, no comments so far. Let me check on Facebook. Okay, no comments on Facebook. Okay, so today's episode is made possible by Divicake.com. Check out their huge selection of Divi themes, layouts, and plugins. The link to that is in the descriptions below. Okay, so we've come to the end of our reviews. If you haven't submitted your website, please do so by following the link in the description below, and I'll be sure to add it to the list of websites that I'll be reviewing. And also on Wednesday, that's when I'll be having the next show. So do mark your date on the calendar, and I'll also do a reminder, to be honest, to let you know just before I go live, so that in case you've forgotten. So to everyone that joined me today, I'd like to say thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate your time on this Saturday to keep me company, and also perhaps to learn a few tips here and there when it comes to your websites. Now, the importance of these website reviews, even if your website is not being reviewed, it's important that you hang around there and see, because some of these tips that I'm giving out may also be applied to your own website. So you can pick up a few things here and there, even also from the audience. So do try and make an effort to join the live stream. So once again, I would like to say thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And also do join me again on Wednesday, where we have another, and this time it's going to be episode 13. Can't believe we've done so many episodes. It's really awesome. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Thank you very much, and I will see you on Wednesday. Take care.